everybody, to another episode of Treasures. Stay tuned. Right after the break, we'll be right back. Welcome everybody to another episode of Treasures. Right behind me is the enclosure wall. We're going to talk also about the first pyramid that was built here by King Zoser. And also we're going to talk about what are the pyramids? What is the pyramid? The evolution of pyramids, how it evolved over time. So stay tuned with us. Today we're going to talk about the pyramids. What are the pyramids? And we're going to talk also about the evolution of pyramids. And with us is Mr. Abu Abbas. So let's talk with him and see what he has to say. Mr. Abbas, how are you, sir?
Thank you. I'm good, thank you. I think the subject we are about to cover, the pyramids in ancient Egypt, is a very important subject, and I think I would like the Egyptians to understand what is the pyramid and why the ancient Egyptian built the pyramid. I don't want the people to think the Egyptians said, let's build a pyramid, and that's how they built a pyramid and that's it. No, it took lots of years to reach to the famous, familiar shape we know in Giza. It started from one brick to that huge, massive building in Giza. And the pyramid also, or the pyramids, it's like any story, starts from zero, from nothing, from the beginning to the peak, until then it went down till it totally disappeared, and the ancient Egyptian replaced building the pyramid by something else. I think when we start talking about the pyramid, the first thing we should think about why the pyramid, why the ancient Egyptian built such a shape. The ancient Egyptian, I would say it's one of the most important keys of the ancient Egyptian civilization, is that the ancient Egyptian believed in the afterlife. The ancient Egyptian believed very much and strongly about their afterlife. The ancient Egyptian thought about it, thought what's going after death, what's death, what will happen after death, are we going to have something after death, or that's it, that's the end of the story. And you will realize that the ancient Egyptian connected their own life so much with their nature around them. The ancient, and it took of course lots of years to realize that, and we call in the history, we call history and prehistory. Something happened between them, these two eras, to distinguish between this time and the time before, which was recording. Before recording, we call that prehistory. And in this prehistory time, we're talking about thousands of years before now, really thousands of years. The step in this time could take lots of years, or it took lots of years from the ancient Egyptian. From hunting, from taming the animals, from discovering agriculture, from storing their own food. Then I have free time to think, and now because I have free time to think, now I have time to express and to record. And this is a very important time. Even some people, some scholars disagree to call it prehistory, and they call it the dawn of history. The ancient Egyptian noticed the sun, for instance, and they noticed that the sun rises from the east, spend all the day, and then the sun sets. Next day, the sun comes again, which means life, death, life after death. The ancient Egyptian saw that as well in the moon and the journey of the moon.
They believed in reincarnation.
Reincarnation in everything, true. Yes, they believed that everything, life, death, life after death. Life, death, life after death. The inundation when it comes to Egypt. And then the sun, and then the moon. So they believed so much that after death, there is something after death. And they wanted to prepare themselves for this life after death. And that's what we are going to see. Yes, it took lots of years and lots of thinking, lots of time to reach to this building, for instance, to reach to the idea of the scenes on the walls in the Valley of the Kings, and their imagination about the afterlife and heaven and hell and the judgment day, and the scale, which is very, very close to what we have it in Quran and Bible nowadays. If we will talk about the pyramid, as I said to you, that the Egyptians believed in life, death, life after death. And they believed that in the afterlife, I need my body with me as well, to be with me. So they wanted to take care of this body by any way, and to bury with the body, to have with the body in this burial everything they would need, let's say, like in your life. So you will be surprised that the ancient Egyptian buried with them everything you can imagine. They buried with them everything, even anything they use in their life. Necklaces, bracelets, beds, jars of wine, beer, milk, water, food, furniture. They buried with them. They wanted to be prepared for everything for their afterlife. And I would like to tell you as well that the kings of the first dynasty and the second dynasty, they used to have two tombs in Egypt for themselves. The first tomb is in Abydos, which is in Sohag nowadays, which is the real one and the one actually they were using. And a false one, not for real, or actually not really used it was here in Saqqara. And that was the tomb of the ancient Egyptian kings from the before the unification or before the dynastic times till the second dynasty, or actually even I can say till the last king of the second dynasty, who built a very, very similar complex to this one, made out of mud bricks. And yeah, and this gentleman, this king, his name was Khasikhimwi, a beautiful building, bigger than this actually even, and it was completely from mud bricks. We believe that this gentleman, who came here in Saqqara, the owner of this pyramid, Saqqara, King Zoser, is his son. He could be the first king or the second king, but most probably the second king of the third dynasty. And he came and he built a similar complex to his father, but now not from mud bricks. This is the first structure, a complete complex. We know now a complete building, complex from different buildings, a complete one from stone. And we are talking about like 2700 BC, which means like 4700 years ago. And he was lucky, I have to say, he was really lucky that his vizier, his minister, and one of the top officials in his time, who was an architect, who was a philosopher, who was a genius man, let's say briefly. This man, he was in the time of King Zoser. This man, his name was Imhotep. Imhotep, the genius man, he wanted to imitate what they used to have on the mud bricks and on wood, the palm trees and the reeds, now on stone.